Okay. I guess I'll wait a little bit longer to end the poll. Okay. So it looks like the majority of you are international students, domestic students, and then we have some staff here too. So welcome everyone. I'm going to get started. I'm going to end the poll. I guess that's it there. Okay. So thank you so much for coming to our webinar on filing fee. The hosts are our academic advising team. I'm Sarah, and we have the rest of our team here as well that we'll introduce in a bit. And then we also have Tammy Silver from SISS here as well. Let me just quick here. Okay, so today we're going to start by walking through the filing fee process from a student perspective, including how to apply and important things to know for both international and domestic students. After we finish our portion, then Tammy from Services for International Students and Scholars, or SISS, will join us to talk about some new updates specifically for international students on filing fee. If you're a domestic student, that portion may not apply to you, so you're welcome to hop off at that point. Of course, anyone is welcome to stay if you'd like to learn more. So this is our workshop. We're doing a filing fee workshop. Is filing fee right for you? And it is March 2026. This is our academic and advising team. We are located in Graduate Studies in Walker Hall, and we're all on the call here to help answer questions and support everyone throughout this webinar. We have our director, Sarah Driver on this call. She's the director of advising. We have two student services specialist positions. One's vacant, and the other one is being served solely by Adair. So he's doing a lot of work for two positions, but he's doing it in one. Me, Sarah Hamid, I'm a senior academic advisor here in Graduate Studies. We have Samantha as well on this call. She's a senior academic advisor, and then we have Brittany as well as a senior academic advisor on this call. So this is our team. Welcome, everyone. So this is our agenda for today. So we're going to talk about what is filing fee. We're also going to go over, are you eligible for filing fee, the eligibility requirements, and also the filing fee restrictions. We're going to talk about how you're going to apply if you are eligible. That includes going over our completion plan, the GradSphere application. So we're going to dive into what it looks like in GradSphere to submit your filing fee application. And we're going to talk about the filing fee payment as well. And then we're going to talk about what happens next. Filing fee approval or denial, both of those scenarios we'll go over. And then we're going to open it up to a Q&A for a little bit. And then after that, we'll move over to Tammy's presentation from Services for International Students and Scholars. So what is filing fee? So filing fee is an optional, one-time, non-registered status available to graduate students who've completed all of their degree requirements except for final administrative steps involving their thesis, dissertation, or capstone report or completion of their comprehensive exam. Filing fee is definitely optional. Just want to reiterate that. A lot of students misinterpret it and think that they have to go on filing fee in order to graduate or submit their dissertation or thesis or to graduate. And it is 100% optional. And I would say the majority of our students who file to graduate do not end up on filing fee. The majority of our students who graduate are registered in regular units during their final quarter. This is not an option really that is optimal for every single student out there. It really depends on if you're eligible and if you can get the application in on time, which we're going to talk about later because it is due on the first day of instruction and requires all committee members to sign off on it. So a lot of students struggle getting that application in by the deadline, which is the first day of instruction. And again, it's optional. And if you do qualify and you are eligible, it is a great option because you're only going to pay the $192 fee instead of all of your tuition and fees. So it's a one-time thing. It's your final quarter. You just have to be at the point where you're doing minor formatting edits on your thesis or dissertation, just gathering up your filing documents. No more research left to do. And we're going to go over all of this more in detail. But it is $192 versus your tuition and fees. Am I eligible for filing fee? We're going to go over the eligibility and restrictions now, and I believe that
It's my turn.
is Sam's
Thank
turn.
you. Thank you
Yep.
so much. Um, so, um, uh, in terms of filing fee eligibility, these are a few things that you need to keep in mind. We want to make sure that you are enrolled in the previous academic quarter, whether that's fall, winter, or spring. This includes students enrolled in absentia, students that are coming back from PELP are not eligible. You would need to have a fully registered quarter of units in order to be then eligible for filing fee. You need to have advanced to candidacy, which means that you've completed your candidacy paperwork and it's been approved through our office. Completed all required coursework and degree requirements, except the final requirements, as in submitting that thesis or dissertation or the comp exam. Completed all research. So filing fee is not the time where you're finalizing any research, etc. As the next section says, you've completed a final draft of your thesis, dissertation, or capstone project, and it's been reviewed by your entire committee, and you are purely making edits to that thesis dissertation that are maybe adding page numbers, etc. So it's not something where you're making any significant additional changes. And if it's a capstone or comp exam, you've scheduled to do the final comp exam prior to the filing deadline. So keep that in mind for eligibility. And we will go to the next slide. Students completing a thesis, a dissertation, or a capstone project or report. Every member of the committee has reviewed the student's final draft of their capstone and agreed that it is acceptable for an official submission. Only minor stylistic or topographical corrections are needed, and and are going to be reported to graduate studies. There's no new request for research or changes to the reasoning of the manuscript. And students with that comp exam, again, just reiterating that it's scheduled to complete the comp exam before the end of the quarter that you're on filing fee, and the degree requirements should not require enrollment in any other additional courses. So we just really want to reiterate, you are done, just wanting to make final changes or your exam is scheduled. So moving on to our next slide, there are some restrictions, which is why we mention a lot that it's an optional status and it may not be best for you. So while on filing fee, you may not use university facilities as in campus rec, labs, desk space. You have to purchase UC SHIP or health insurance or membership to the ARC. Um, you may not use professional development services. Grad advising retains UC library and computing accounts. So these are accesses that you will not these are things you will not have access to because you're not paying tuition and student fees, right? So you're not allowed to be employed as a student appointment position that requires full-time enrollment in order to be eligible. So no TA, reader, GSR positions, not allowed to have fellowship or financial aid. You're not taking coursework of any kind, and you're not conducting any additional dissertation research, etc., or including working as a GSR. So for some students, this isn't a good option because they rely on being a TA or a GSR in order to be a student at Davis. So again, make sure that you're aware of the restrictions of filing fee as well as the eligibility. And then moving forward to just some general information about how to apply. So hopefully by now, a lot of you are familiar with GradSphere. I believe we are, oh, pardon me, Sarah. I misspoke. To clarify, you do have access to the library, career development, etc., just not access to um, uh, uh, student health insurance and things of those natures. I meant to clarify that, sorry. So in terms of applying, for those of you who have been here for a little while, hopefully you're all familiar with GradSphere to a certain extent. I think we're on 2 years with GradSphere now. So the submission application for filing fee is in GradSphere. That includes the completion plan and the payment process. So In terms of how to apply, we're going to provide some information, but the deadline is really important to know as well, because the deadline for filing fee, as Sarah said, is the first day of instruction of the quarter. So if you were to want to be on filing fee for spring, you need to have your filing fee application in before the first day of instruction for spring, and you would need to file your thesis, dissertation, or complete your capstone project before the filing deadline of March 20th. So the first day of instruction for, pardon me, June 11th. So the first day of instruction for spring is March 30th. So you would need to have your filing fee application in for spring. And then the deadline would be June 11th, and you would need to have your all of your paperwork and your filing completed before June 11th on filing fee. So we always recommend that you bookmark the registrar dates and deadlines calendar. It's really helpful for you in terms of being able to get a sense of what your timeline would look like. Same thing for fall. If you're wanting to be on filing fee for fall, you need to have your filing fee application submitted by September 23rd, and your filing needs to be received before December 11th. So um, uh, the completion plan, in terms of filling out the completion plan, we have a template that's on our website that you can access, and it's also within GradSphere that has to be signed by all of your committee members. So this is a really important component of making sure that you're doing filing fee, because sometimes students are not able to submit the application purely because the signature process can take some time as well too. And also keep in mind, if you're wanting to be on filing fee for fall, for example, that you should probably calculate the fact that a lot of faculty may not be as accessible over the summer. So getting these things filled out and completed early is really, really important. Again, you can open the filing fee application today and take a look at it and see, what components you'd like to fill out. But the completion plan you can access through GradSphere or directly on our website. So examples of what is not acceptable for a completion plan is saying that you need to add an abstract, finish a conclusion, rerun code, or reorganize chapters, etc. What we're looking for in terms of acceptable content for the completion plan is maybe a date of your final exam or your exit seminar, saying that you need to fix the margins or splitting content into one large table, adjusting figures or tables, correcting a bibliography to include certain references, making, like we've said, topographical edits only. You are submitting a full draft of your thesis or dissertation with your filing fee application, so we will be able to see the progress or what you've done so far along with your completion plan as well too, and we use those to cross-reference one another. And by we I mean Sarah Driver, because she's the one that reviews and approves or denies them, and she'll talk more about that later. So on to the next slide. The expectations for completion, just so that we are very clear again, is that you are expected to fulfill your final requirements as stated in your completion plan before the end of the filing deadline for that quarter. The reason that a lot of that is really important is because there is a fee component or fee information that's filled out in the GradSphere filing application that could have retroactively paying for tuition and fees if for some reason you're not able to file. We really want to make sure that you're in that position to file and that you have all of those signatures and that you're in a good place to be finished. So all students must submit a filing process form to graduate studies via GradSphere by the filing deadline. That means that it's gone through all of the appropriate steps and is in the GS received phase before the first day of instruction, which means it's received the appropriate signatures in GradSphere all the way through and is to our office. Students filing a thesis or dissertation, is completed submitting their thesis or dissertation in ProQuest by the filing deadline. So your filing is to us before the deadline. Completing your capstone project, we must receive your Plan 2 form or your MFA report form in GradSphere. plans A or C, we have to have a copy of that final exam in GradSphere. And if you have a comp exam, we need those final results again in GradSphere in the GS received area before the filing deadline. So all of those things have to be fully completed before the filing deadline. So I don't see any questions in the chat that were pertaining to the sections that we were talking about, but all right, I think the next slides we're heading into are with Brittany. So Brittany will introduce themselves. And again, I am one of the senior academic advisors in our office. Sorry for not saying hello earlier. So nice to see you all.
Thanks, Sam. Hi, folks. I'm Brittany. I'm going to cover the application process and a little bit what that looks like in GradSphere itself. So you should be able to access GradSphere with your UC Davis credentials, and you will see the filing fee application toward the top of that list of forms under registration and courses. At this point, you'll already have your completion plan. It'll be signed. You'll have your draft if you need one, and you will go ahead and click that there. And so this is the first step of the application. You'll go ahead and enter your student ID number, and this information at the top will populate for you. And you'll go ahead and select your degree objective and your plan from the drop-down menu. Review all of this information just one more time. It is the same things that we're telling you here. We just want to make sure that you are fully aware of the implications of being on filing fee and the eligibility requirements and the restrictions. So you'll just go ahead and review that information before you select which final degree requirements you plan to complete while on filing fee. For master's students, if you've selected Plan 1, you'll be filing your master's thesis. If you selected Plan 2, you'll be submitting your master's plan to report, whether that's for an exam or project or whatever it is. And you will also be expected to give us a estimated filing date. As long as that is before the filing deadline, you are fine. We're not going to hold you to whatever date you estimate to, as long as it is before the filing deadline. Mhm. Same thing for doctoral students. Put in your student ID number, review the information, select your plan from the drop-down menu. You'll have the option to select either option here, whether you're doing the defense or the dissertation or both. And then again, we'll need an expected or goal filing date, but as long as it's before the filing deadline, you'll be all set. Next step is just reviewing eligibility one more time and submitting your payment. So we'll have you check off that you understand all of these eligibility requirements. If you are doing a thesis or a dissertation, you will also see your current up-to-date committee listed here. The form should still let you submit if this isn't correct. However, if it is not correct, please get in touch with your graduate program coordinator. They can help you submit a committee reconstitution form, and you can do that during the filing fee quarter. But yeah, definitely get in touch with them if this doesn't look right to you. And then there at the bottom, you can go ahead and pay the $192 fee. There should be a link there for the Graduate Studies Forms store, and you'll just put your receipt number in at the bottom. And then last step is uploading all of those documents. So as we said, you can download the completion plan template here today if you go into the filing fee application, but this is also where you will go ahead and upload those things when you are ready. Down at the bottom, if you are doing a exam, you shouldn't have any requirements to upload anything here, but everyone else, you should have the correct fields to upload what you need. Leave notes for anyone that might be reviewing it, so your program or us at Graduate Studies, and then go ahead and you'll click review and submit. Just one other thing about the filing fee payment. So again, most folks are going to pay online through the forms store. The link is there. The link is on the filing fee application. If necessary, you can go in person to Dutton Hall to pay. I guess in this situation, you'd probably bring your signed completion plan to have them stamp it, if they were going to pay in person. So yeah, just do that. Okay, next slide, Sarah. And then just one more reminder on our filing calendar, right? So our next submission deadline is March 20th for the winter. For those of you who are applying for filing fee in the spring, just June 11th, 4:59 p.m. is your deadline. And then if you're here for filing fee in the fall, the deadline will be December 11th, 4:59 p.m.
Okay,
Take away.
next. And I've been trying to answer questions in the chat, but are going to get to Q&A in just 1 second, so we can chat about that in a minute. So as folks were saying, I am actually the one reviewing filing fee at this time, all your applications and completion plans. And here's what happens. Essentially, there are really three outcomes. Your filing fee can be approved right off the bat, and you are recorded as in filing fee status. We work with the registrar and they take care of that. You're not charged tuition and fees. And if you registered, the registrar will drop you from courses. You do not need to take any action. And in fact, you cannot fully withdraw yourself from all of your classes. The registrar has to go ahead and do that. So you will get an email saying your filing fee application was approved, and then you'll see an email to the registrar as well. Next slide. And then the other option is the sort of sub option is I may return your filing fee application to ask for more information. So that is a possibility. Or your filing fee application may be denied. And what happens if that occurs is you will need to register for courses. You have until the 10th day of instruction to register for something, and then you can use PTAs to get into other courses as needed. Or if you are not registered for anything by the 10th day of instruction, you'll need to do the late enrollment process. You can work with your program coordinator to take care of that, and that needs to be completed by the 25th day of instruction. So if your filing fee is denied, you will need to get registered.